Attempting to move their case to federal court as a Michigan lawsuit seeks to close the pipeline that runs beneath a channel linking two of the Great Lakes. Attorney General Dana Nessel filed suit in 2019, arguing that Enbridge's Line 5 should not operate in the Straits of Mackinac because it risks a spill. Nessel also filed a second suit in 2020 to enforce a shutdown order by Governor Whitmer. But a federal judge agreed with Enbridge last month that litigation over Whitmer's order belongs in federal court. Yesterday, Enbridge moved to shift Nessel's earlier lawsuit to federal court as well. Nessel is vowing to fight the effort. Jim Matthews, Michigan News Network.
A plea for information from the father of a missing Rochester Hills teen who says he doesn't want to spend the holidays without him. MNN's Sandra McNeil reports.
In a lengthy Facebook post, Brad Santo, the father of Brendan Santo, made a plea for information and help in the case. Santo disappeared on a visit to Michigan State on October 29th. Divers have been combing the Red Cedar River but had not found the 19-year-old Grand Valley State freshman. The cameras where Santo's phone last pinged weren't working. Brad Santo writes that with the Michigan State game, the campus was packed with people all weekend with phones taking pictures and videos. Yet he says not one person has come forward to say that they saw Brendan Santo after midnight. He goes on to say, in this day and age, how can a person just vanish? Sandra McNeil, Michigan News Network.
When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 9:10. I'm Dave Maurer.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. A wind advisory continues. Cloudiness early today, plenty of sunshine for this afternoon. Temperatures will fall across the region. West-southwest winds will be strong, 20 to 25 miles per hour. Gusts could get as high as 40 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear and still fairly breezy. Lows make it down into the upper 20s to near 30. Winds stay west-southwest, 10 to 20. Higher gusts stay possible as well. Friday, mostly sunny. Highs top out near 38. Then a chance for snow showers developing on Friday night. This is meteorologist Phil Jensko with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Right now it's 60.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And away we go on this Thursday morning, this blustery Thursday morning. Welcome into the Art Lewis Show. It's great to have you with us here on WSGW. I'm Bill Hobson and have the opportunity to sit in for Art today and tomorrow. And it's been kind of a unique couple of days for me and here at the station. Yesterday, of course, was the day-long Sharing Hope Radiothon for Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan, and I get the chance each year to be a part of that and helping to organize that wonderful day. And so many of you were so incredibly generous. We're still amazed and still celebrating the reaching of the goal. The goal was to raise $50,000 in one day to help care for the hurting and homeless in this area. And as we signed off at 6 p.m. yesterday evening, we had crossed 51,600 and something. It's on a sign just outside the window here, but I've forgotten the last couple digits. But it was wonderful. And so thank you for all of you, both in an individual basis and in businesses who were a part of such a cool day. It's just really, really encouraging. And especially at a time like, the old song, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, only really applies if you live in Central Florida, because it's 61 degrees and windy, and it doesn't necessarily look like that white Christmas you may have been dreaming of. But man, so many of you in the WSGW audience were in the giving mood, and thank you for being part of something so special. And yesterday morning, just before, I think it was 9 o'clock, if memory serves me, it's been kind of a blur, the phone call came into the station that Art Lewis had been in a bit of a fender bender and was not going to be able to make it for the radiothon. And he's still convalescing, recovering from I think the other vehicle may have lost, but I know Art got a couple of dings along the way, so we're praying for his speedy recovery and that he'll be back behind the microphone on Monday. And so during the radiothon, I think it was Dave Meyer who came in and said, "What are you doing Thursday and Friday?" And I thought, I'm sleeping. I've been here for a long time. And thankfully was able to come in and be a part of today and tomorrow's conversations with all of you. Our phone numbers are, as they always are, here on WSGW, 989-752-6111 or 866-790-WSGW. Not only are we on the radio, but if you really want to see what that wind has done to my hair, you can sign on to the WSGW Facebook page or onto their website, and we are live streaming the video of this morning's program. So lots of connection points for us all today, that's for sure. We're going to turn our attention now to a really serious topic. It's one that, it's heartbreaking to even think that we need to address it, to be honest with you, but it's the topic of school safety. The community of Oxford, and really all of us, are still heartbroken over what transpired there a handful of days ago. And you know what? Rather than me starting to wax on about my personal feelings about how it all transpired, I'm going to bring in our special guest who was kind enough to respond to an invitation that just came his way yesterday. Tom Meinsberg is from Critical Incident Management, and his career these days, I believe, is to help prepare schools and businesses for the possibility of dealing with an awful incident like we saw at Oxford. Tom, good morning, and welcome on to WSGW. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you.
Did I get the title right? Critical Incident Management?
That is correct. That's the name of the firm I own. Yes.
How did you decide, and when did you decide to launch that firm?
Well, back when Columbine occurred, I was a member of the Michigan State Police, and I was on their emergency support team. And after Columbine, our department had told us to review the procedures, because at that time procedures were, when the police arrived there, they wait for the SWAT teams because that's what they were trained to do. And you can imagine what that delay would cause as far as the response and take care of our children. So we were one of the first agencies in the nation to develop what we call a quad entry, where the first 4 officers arriving would form a team and go address the bad guy, stop his actions there. And it wasn't SWAT team members. It was just road patrol officers that arrived there, form a team, and go in and take care of the problem there. So that's how I initially started with the program. And then when we were working on that portion of it, we started thinking about the entities and the schools and the businesses. What can they do to minimize the impact with the resources that they have available? What is the best procedures they can enact in order to minimize this attack? So I got an indoctrination when we start training our officers as far as getting them in there, getting in the buildings, which still transpires today, although we've progressed to the point where we're training the first officer. When the officer arrives, he's getting the tools and equipment to go in there and address the bad guy. He or she is getting the equipment to get in there and stop the bad guy, which really enhances our response times and our ability to stop the violence in the school.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, I've been working with businesses, schools, throughout the state and even parts of the nation on how they need to respond to minimize that impact until we do have the arrival of the police in there.
I would like to, in the next few moments, take a bit of a tactical look at what transpired perhaps in Oxford and in some other instances that have really broken our hearts in different parts of the nation. But I have kind of a broader picture question for you. And I don't want to come off sounding like the old guy, but man, in times like this, I feel like the old guy. I graduated from high school at Clio in 1986. Yes, for those of you who weren't born then, yes, I'm old. And I remember, some fights in the parking lot. I remember some unruly kids who would kind of schedule their fights for the church that was a few blocks away. And, the big deal was we're going to meet at 3:00 in the church parking lot. And, that would be the excitement, the buzz in the air throughout the day. And of course, that was prior to social media and all those other ways that we now stay connected for better or for worse. I don't remember, and maybe it's selective memory, but I don't remember reports of school shootings at any point in my life until Columbine. Am I missing something? Did all of this start there in Colorado, or was it around and we just didn't hear much?
Well, one thing I noticed, with national news, everything is on the forefront. Any tragedy that occurs, it is right on the forefront there, and we expect full coverage and responses, and then everything to be taken care of in 2 days. That's kind of the news agencies today. But Columbine really did bring things to the forefront. It's, it was there. It was showed our population being vulnerable. And I still say, if you went, the most impactful events that have ever occurred, there's been some mass shootings in different areas. But when I talk to my staff, and I talk to others, it always comes back to our children in schools. The Virginia Techs, the Sandy Hook, the Columbine. Those are the most impactful that it seems like everybody remembers. And I think it's because we always think of the innocence of children and not so much adults being victimized on the violence. I don't know for sure. I don't know what the attacks on the schools were prior to Columbine. But Columbine really did. And I think, the good part is in any situation like that is if we learn something and go forward from it and not just, just say, well, these things just happen and there is nothing we can do to minimize that. Well, there are ways you can do that. You can also, we have a responsibility as schools and also as employers and government agencies to provide a safe environment. And that, includes an active shooter response and that you can allow the people at least a chance for survival with the tools that they do have.
How have you seen the receptivity of schools change to your offer to come in and train over the years? I would have to think that when Columbine first happened and you thought, I'm going to do something professionally about this, you probably had some closed doors to you for a while. As schools said, yeah, listen, that was a one-off. It was terrible. It's not going to happen here. Thanks for your interest. We'll hold on to your business card kind of a thing. How have you seen that change since then?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I approached Saginaw County and the Saginaw ISD, which now I've been working over 20 years with, creating our program here in Saginaw County. And it was kind of an alignment of the police chiefs, the responders, the school boards, and the superintendents that they all agreed this could be a useful program. And we started the program in Saginaw County here. We've adapted and changed, although the procedures have pretty much stayed the same since we started 20 years ago. They've just been reinforced by what we do practice and what we do train will help our kids survive these things. And since then, it's expanded. We've joined with Shiawassee, Lapeer County, and several other counties throughout the state. A lot of independent schools throughout the nation, and doing that type of training. And now it seems to be very well accepted, and people are looking for the solutions.
Our guest on the Art Lewis Show here is Tom Meinsberg from Critical Incident Management. We'll continue our conversation on this really important subject as we roll along here on the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson sitting in for Art on WSGW.
Hi, this is Mary Ann from Warden Interiors of Frankenmuth. The beauty of the Christmas season is that it can remind us all of the beauty in life that we take for granted, our family, our friends, and our faith. And this is a perfect time to remind all of our customers how much we appreciate your business during the year. And I'd like to take this moment to wish you a wonderful season filled with the people and traditions that mean the most. So from our family to yours, may you be blessed with the most important gift this Christmas, the love of our Lord Jesus Christ. Warden Interiors on North Main Street in Frankenmuth. We'll help you bring it all together.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The number of new claims for unemployment benefits rose slightly last week, up 18,000 to 206,000, though that number was expected after a large decline the previous week. New claims for benefits are still at the lowest level since 1969. The number of groundbreakings for new homes rose 12% in November. Permits for new construction rose 4%. The Federal Reserve plans to pull back stimulus and raise interest rates next year, contributed to a global rally. The Fed is taking action in an effort to contain inflation. McDonald's former CEO, Steve Easterbrook, has settled his legal dispute with the chain related to his dismissal. He will repay more than $105 million in stock and cash. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
When Natalie was diagnosed with cancer, she took control of her health. When Natalie wanted to help other people with cancer, she became a doctor. When Natalie wanted to make quality care affordable, she became a researcher. When Natalie's patients needed innovative treatments, she found them. Conquer Cancer supports researchers like Dr. Natalie McKenzie, so we can conquer every cancer for every patient, everywhere. Cancer research saves lives. Learn more and donate at conquer.org. That's conquer.org.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
There's a confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. But one thing is for sure. Whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer. Contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever, the leading sign of COVID and the flu. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and can miss the fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
You have the chance to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2022 up to $15,000. It's the Home for the Holidays contest presented by Frankenmuth Credit Union on WSGW. Enter the contest online at WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage and find the Home for the Holidays box presented by Frankenmuth Credit Union. Your mortgage or rent paid for up to $15,000 in 2022. Home for the Holidays presented by Frankenmuth Credit Union on WSGW.
Well, good morning and welcome back into the Art Lewis Show, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all of your residential and commercial realty needs, call Pinnacle Realty at 989-295-3900. If you're just joining us, I'm Bill Hobson, sitting in for Art Lewis today and tomorrow. It's good to have you with us. And we have a really important conversation going on. Our guest is Tom Minesberg from Critical Incident Management. Tom is an expert in school safety. And of course, our entire state is still reeling in sorrow for what our friends in Oxford are going through. And Tom, as we look at that particular incident, I'm wondering if, in the aftermath, as we've had a little bit of time to debrief and get a handle on some of the things that have transpired, I don't know if you've been contacted by Oxford or if you're a part of that, but as a professional who deals with this topic, what are your initial thoughts on how it could have been handled differently?
Well, it's really hard to tell on the onset of what occurred there. It's really sad that so many students were injured and killed in the incident. I don't know exactly what their procedures are because I haven't trained with them, and there's different responses that some schools advocate and some trainers advocate. So I'm not sure, it would be interesting to find out the effectiveness of those, if there's things we can learn from that. And then the police response with it too, it was very good. And I would like to see, did it make a difference if there were an officer immediately in the school? Would it make a difference if an officer, had to come from just a short distance away? Because the response time was very good. So it's really hard to tell. Right now, I think everybody's kind of tight-lipped on everything, and we're not gaining a whole lot of inside information to find out exactly, what worked and what didn't work and what we need to improve upon, which I still say is one of the things. If you're going to have an incident, then make sure that we try to do better the next time around and learn from, any errors that might have occurred.
Yeah, it's so hard. I certainly don't want to sit here and be the backseat driver, the Monday morning quarterback. I do have a hard time wrapping my head around how they have the conversations in the school office with the parents and with administrators and somehow come to the decision not only to send the young man back into class, but to not check his backpack. I don't understand these things, given the prompting that led to the meeting. So, the things that he had been writing, the things he'd been searching for online. I don't. So let's talk about best practices, because I'm not going to ask you to editorialize on all this either. And I don't want to sit here and drag everybody down, but what are some best practices for those that might be school leaders and parents that are listening to us now, who are wondering how to maybe take what would be the simple steps right off the bat, and not provide further opportunity for a young person who is clearly not mentally sound to do what happened in Oxford?
Well, one thing to also realize that our schools are somewhat strapped, and a lot of times they probably need twice as many counselors as they have in the building that can help them kind of analyze and look at these type of things. And our administrators, while everything for us on the outside looks clear cut, I know how overwhelmed they are trying to take care of COVID and everything that's going on and tracking students, and concerned about that because that's been on the forefront for so long with them, and it's just another thing on their plate. So they do have a very difficult job. I'm not advocating for anything, but I think we need to look at the insight there, what they're trying to do with a lot less resources than they've had in the past with it too. But there are things you can do, no matter how good we are, how much information we have or intelligence we gain. Our schools are now advocating, if you see something, say something, and it's okay to say. And there's hotlines for troubled youth to call in, or if they're aware of an incident going on, for them to call in and get the help. And I've seen it work. I've seen it relate to the police and then to the schools, and they're immediately on track to investigate and see, check the veracity of the incident and see, if there is an actual threat. So they're much more open that way. And that's one of our, best insights is, somewhat even more so from the students and, what they see in their peers, and look for troubled people that, perhaps we can get the help before they do look desperate like this. So that's one incident. But then, as much as we try to prevent them all, I don't think we'll ever be able to do that 100%. Yeah. And I just kind of give tips for everyday life for people, no matter what situation they're in. If you're in a mall, if you're in a movie theater, my thoughts are, I just kind of give an abbreviation of live by the sea, and that would be kind of like the ocean, or CSEA. If you find yourself in an incident, if I'm walking in a mall and I hear gunshots, the S stands for Seek Secured Shelter. I might run in a store. I might run past the store clerk there, says, I'm going in your back room and locking the door. You might want to join me. You might want to drop your gate out front. That offers 2 layers of protection. Bad guys do not like to go looking for people behind locked doors because it takes too much time, and we know the police are chasing them shortly. And, you know, if he does try to get into that locked room actively, trying to shoot through the door, trying to gain access to it, my next option is use the E and you escape the room. You give the room up and get out of there. And then sometimes you are in a secured location and there's nothing you can do. If the bad guy's trying to get in there, this happened in the Orlando nightclub, there's no place for them to escape. And then your last option is to attack. So you have to look whatever you have there to stop the bad guy. It might be fire extinguishers, it might be something pointed or whatever it could be, but you have to stop the bad guy and make sure, you know, he's incapacitated till the police can come there and make sure he's secured. So live by the sea. If a lot of people think about that and kind of share it with their kids and everything, get that secured area, barricade it, lock it up, and if it is being compromised, you have two other options. Either I'll get out of there and let the bad guy have the empty room, or if I have to, I got to stop him at that point and then I have to attack.
Tom, does it make sense for me to say it makes me sad that we have to have the conversation, but I sure am glad there are experts out there who have a handle on how these moments should transpire, you know, with the training that you provide. I wish we never had to have these conversations.
I agree with you totally. It's too bad that I have a job, and it's too bad when incidents like this occur that things get so busy once again. But I still put out there, we're never going to eliminate 100%. So then take a proactive stance with it. If something does happen, let's get the training, let's get the people in line to where we can minimize that impact. Because even if we send one child home at the end of the day, and that's my child, it's the best thing on earth. And I'm hoping from this type of training that it's much more than just one child, but every child we send home, you know, makes a very happy parent at the end of that day.
How do you think this would be a different environment altogether without social media?
Social media, you know, it's tough on all of us. It's tough on the administrators in schools, and you know, and then everybody gets online once an incident happens and doesn't realize the complications they're creating for law enforcement and you know, what we're doing with our resources and directing them away from that, just on, you know, foolish things that I think some kids are doing and sneaking things in at times. Yeah, I think social media is a big problem with it, and the responsibility with it. And let's face it too, news media, you know, when they get on the scene too, like to show tragedies too, which then everything is always in our forefront all the time with it. Now the information is necessary, and I think we need to stay up to date with it, but we almost get calloused, I think, to the impact of these incidents. You know, it's like 2 days that it's done, Oxford's going to be in. Same with Sandy Hook. Those communities are going to be reeling for who knows how long. You know, they're going to be reeling for their children, for and the victims, and it really does have a lasting effect in the community effect.
Yeah, I have not been down to Oxford since it all happened, but I have some friends who were, and they were telling us that there were businesses in Oxford that had signs posted, media not served here, not welcome here, restaurants and gas stations, because they felt so invaded by these big satellite trucks and these crews that come in and descend for a couple of days. And if it bleeds, it leads is an old axiom when it comes to most news coverage. And they just felt deeply invaded and offended by it all, and didn't want them around. And at the same time, it was a day or two later, Tom, and I was at home watching some, a ball game or something, and crawls started coming across the bottom of the screen announcing school closings all over the Great Lakes Bay region for, I think it was a Friday. I can't remember which day it was. And I'm like, well, the weather's fine, so why would that be? Oh, yeah, it's copycat threats being called in by either bored kids or those who want a day off of school and don't realize what they're doing, or maybe they do and they're just also mentally deranged. But all that is fed by the desire for attention, it seems like. So if the reporting goes beyond the facts and starts to give more attention to the shooter, in the case of Oxford, if the reporting goes into the sensational, that it becomes a little bit more attractive to get your, to make an impact or to somehow have your school closed down because you did something. What's the copycat factor like after events like this?
Well, I can tell you it was terrible. Because I work with my schools when they get those on what their procedures should be for the following day. We have a very robust security of the schools when there might be a threat or potential threat from whatever reason. It might be an upset parent, it might be a discharged employee, and also for my businesses that they have. And it's what we call the secure mode. And when I was on the state safety committee, the entire state adopted portions of it that I've been training for the 20 years. But what it is basically, we secure up our schools to where nobody can gain entry in it without being properly vetted. We make sure our kids are safe, our staff are safe, and they can run their normal day. They teach, but it's in a higher state of alertness. And we use it 20, 30 times a year. But that's also what it does for the students, when these threats come in. We have to take proactive measures. We have to assure parents, and that's part of our mission here is to make sure parents feel comfortable about sending their kids to school, and the kids are comfortable with, the protections they're afforded, because sometimes school is the only safe haven they have for 8 hours a day. So we have very proactive measures. The police are involved with them, and they do the investigation. Most of my schools remained open despite these threats coming in. The police were doing active investigations. They were assisting us by having a greater presence around the schools, and our internal staff was making sure that we kept our kids safe. But kind of the goal is, if you continue to allow every threat to close you down, it doesn't take kids long to figure that out. And I kind of go too with the even in bomb threats. Now we've changed our procedures on bomb threats with our staff in schools to where they have different means of dealing with bomb threats now that I've trained them on, and I'm not going to share with you right now. But the way we deal with bomb threats now, they're almost non-existent. We don't get the calls for the incidents going on presently. We don't give them the attention. And, we talk about the news media, but I've got a very close relationship with our news media in the local area, and they've agreed, on a bomb threat, not to advertise it, to try to do this internet thing, starting that up now. But they are very good, and I think this is quite necessary. When we arrest somebody on the bomb threats, they let them know the ramifications, the impact that it has on the individual that made it, and it seems to be working quite well to minimize those. So,
there's one thing we know, that if somebody's acting out for attention, usually it's their own mouth that will lead them to trouble because they can't keep it to themselves. And that's often the case, whether it's an adolescent or an adult. If somebody is craving attention and they're not getting it to the degree that they saw it, they'll just start telling their friends what they did. And eventually, hopefully before there's tragedy, it will come back to bite them. We're going to take your calls for Tom Minesburg after this. Our numbers are 989-752-6111 and 866-790-WSGW. If you have any questions about safety, whether it's in schools or businesses or churches or whatever the setting may be, this is Tom's home run area. So give us a call and we'll let you pass your questions along directly to the expert after this on WSGW.
Welcome to retirement. Now, replace your paycheck. To local financial coach Kevin Ray, this is what retirement planning is all about.
Building monthly paychecks. And how you build those monthly paychecks is going to determine how well in retirement you're going to enjoy it. So sit down and build a good framework, and it starts with income.
So build your framework with Kevin and the team at Insight Folios today by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Bottano. The Saginaw Spirit snapped the season-long 4-game losing streak on Saturday night with a 5-3 victory over the Erie Otters. Defenseman Pavel Minchikov led the way for the Spirit with a goal and 2 assists. Minchikov has 14 points in his last 11 games. The Spirit continue now on the road Wednesday night when they take on the Flint Firebirds at the Dort Financial Center. Puck drop is slated for 7 o'clock. The Spirit's last home game before their 10-day holiday break will be Saturday night, December 18th, as they take on the Flint Firebirds at the Dell Event Center. It's Teddy Bear Toss Night, presented by the Jaden Lamb Memorial Foundation. When the Spirit score their first goal of the game, fans will throw their stuffed animals or teddy bears out onto the ice. For tickets and more information on Saginaw Spirit Hockey, log on to SaginawSpirit.com, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Batano.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Today's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Bearded Axe in Saginaw. You are going to get half off of 1 hour of axe throwing for a group of 4. It's an $80 value that you are getting for only $40. And the Bearded Axe is for everyone. It's a great place to take the whole family for an hour of axe throwing at the Bearded Axe in Saginaw. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Tried Eucrisa for mild to moderate eczema? It works at and below the skin surface and can be used on almost everybody, like on the dimples of a diva. Yeah, roll your boat. Yeah, roll your boat. Or the shoulders of a chef. Look, Mom, I made jelly beans on toast. Steroid-free Eucrisa works at and below the skin surface. It blocks PDE4 enzymes, which is believed to reduce inflammation, even on the wrist of a rebel.
What did you do to your hair?
What?
The specific way Eucrisa works is not well defined. Prescription Eucrisa for mild to moderate eczema is for topical use only in ages 3 months and up. Do not use if you are allergic to Eucrisa, crisaborole ointment 2%, or its ingredients. Allergic reactions, including hives, itching, swelling, and redness, may occur at or near the application site. The most common side effect is application site pain, such as burning or stinging.
Come on, moms and dads. Check out Eucrisa.com and ask your doctor about Eucrisa. Can I sing one more song?
You're in the Stone Specialist Studios. This is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
And welcome back into the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson filling in for Art, and our special guest is Tom Meinsberg from Critical Incident Management, talking about school safety. We've got a couple of calls, Tom, if you're okay with that. Earl's been holding on the line for a while. Earl, good morning. Welcome to WSGW.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
I got a question for you. Have you ever had the thoughts that they ought to equip schools with metal detectors where the kids are coming in and out of school through one door? They generally go in through one door off the parking lot or something like that. You can't get on an airplane without going through a metal detector. It seems like that would work pretty well to negate anyone bringing a weapon into the school.
And they're a good tool for that. The thing that is on the other side of that is the extreme cost with them, the number of people that it takes to man them, and then the time it takes to get the students through it. And I don't want to diminish it, but it's somewhat of these are such rare events. And then we have to make those decisions. Do we invest in counselors that are right there with the students for that same type, that we can maybe prevent some of these by the mental health version or assisting in that way? It's a difficult call with it. Yes, on the onset that looks good, but then you got to have properly trained people screening people every morning, and everybody comes in through the rest of the day with it. The cost of the information with that, and then the legalities of searching individuals to find further things from there, male on female and things like this.
Yeah. Okay.
So, on the onset, it looks like, let's put metal detectors in. And I sometimes also have a look at it as, where do we trade off, for the rarity of the incident? And sometimes do they just get more and more blasé after, everything has been quiet for a long time, and then we lose that. And then do we say, well, we don't need counselors, or we can't afford counselors because we have to do these type of things too. So there's a lot of trade-offs on both sides with it. So
Thank you. You're doing a good job. You're having a hard time at it, I know, in this day and age. Thank you.
Earl, thank you for the phone call. And there's so many different sides to how measures can go, and coming in reactively after the incident, for instance, in Oxford, it's probably too little too late. You wouldn't assume, I guess I should ask the expert, Tom. Once an incident like that happens in a school, I would think everybody's defenses are heightened, and it's probably unlikely that they would have a repeat incident in the near future.
And that's true. But then there might be somebody out there copying. I guess we don't know. That's sometimes I also see the value of counselors too. We don't know the mindset of some of the individuals. It's easy to blame the administrators for perhaps we could say they overlooked all those telltale signs, but there are experts that can help them notify that and recognize the threat. And, there's always those trade-offs of where do we invest to keep our kids safe, and there's different devices, security devices. Some are relatively inexpensive. Some are very expensive. How much do we put effort into those? I usually give advice to all my schools on that to try to keep things reasonable with it too. But the gamut is so large to try to answer all these things, one sweeping.
And I'm going to drop a statement before we take a break, and then after the break, Paul and Bangor will join us. The statement I'm going to drop is that the ultimate in protective measurements and preventive measurements takes place at home, and we're all aware that the parents of this young man are also in jail. And you can have all the metal detectors in the world, but if someone is raised in a less than healthy situation at home, it certainly contributes to the potential here. We'll take another break on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW. Come back with Paul's phone call for Tom and wrap up this hour on the Art Lewis Show.
Hi, this is Mary Ann from Warden Interiors of Frankenmuth. The beauty of the Christmas season is that it can remind us all of the beauty in life that we take for granted, our family, our friends, and our faith. And this is a perfect time to remind all of our customers how much we appreciate your business during the year. And I'd like to take this moment to wish you a wonderful season filled with the people and traditions that mean the most. So from our family to yours, may you be blessed with the most important gift this Christmas, the love of our Lord Jesus Christ. Warden Interiors on North Main Street in Frankenmuth. We'll help you bring it all together.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-519-0449. That's 1-800-519-0449. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-519-0449.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available
Michigan
in all states.
Wolverines football is on WSGW.
Donovan Edwards throwing deep down the sideline. He's got a receiver wide open. The trick play. It's a house call for Michigan. Touchdown. Hassan Haskins. Touchdown, Michigan. Hutchinson. Sack time. The 2021 Michigan Wolverine football team is your Big Ten champions.
It's on to the college football playoff semifinals for the second-ranked Michigan Wolverines, who will face number 3 Georgia in the Orange Bowl. Tune in for coverage on December 31st, starting at 6:30 p.m. on 790 News Radio WSGW. Michigan football is brought to you by Forward Energy, Big East Sports Grill, Wolf Files, Ace Hardware in Saginaw, Schaefer and Beerline, Ram Truck in Frankenmuth, Lingle Equipment Company in Saginaw, and Medicare Choices of Saginaw. It's Michigan and Georgia in the college football playoff semifinals, live December 31st at 6:30 p.m. on 790 News Radio WSGW.
The Wolverines play on WSGW.
Hey, welcome back into the Art Lewis Show. I was singing along to the victors during the break, and now I can sing along to Joy to the World, but nobody asked me to come here and sing, so I'll spare you that side of it. And we round out this hour. Our special guest is Tom Meinsberg from Critical Incident Management. Our caller is Paul in Bangor, who's been kind enough to hold on through the break. So, Paul, fire away.
First of all, Merry Christmas to you, gentlemen.
You too. Thank you.
I'm wondering how these incidents can continue. Aren't schools gun-free zones?
Yes.
Yeah, nobody's suggesting that he was within the rules.
I know. That's why I'm trying to illustrate the absurdity of gun-free zones.
Yeah.
My theory for safety would be to allow the staff to take concealed carry lessons and permits. They can if they want to. They don't have to if they don't want to. And then simply post a sign at the door to the school, staff has concealed carry permits. And they don't even have to bring their guns to the school if they don't want to. But I'm sure that a sign out there would deter that school from ever, well, we say ever, but from having incidents.
Tom, your thoughts?
Well, and this is brought up frequently to have that. One thing is, it seems like a quick fix that you can have there, but if teachers are going to be armed, they should almost be armed to what an air marshal standard is. I have always said, for an 8-hour course where I can get my CPL, to make me qualified to shoot at bad guys with students as a backdrop when they're shooting at me makes a big difference. It's easy to hit paper. You can train people to hit a paper target when it's not shooting back at you. But when shots return at you, and you can understand this from the SWAT experience that we've had, it broadens that target out, and not only might you get the bad guy, but you get several kids, and that makes the good guys killing the kids too. As far as deterrent with extra guns in the school, if you've never carried constantly as an employee in a building, if you've got it on you, there's problems. As being a state trooper, I had to be armed all the time. Yeah. There's difficulty just using the public bathrooms, going to different areas and securing the gun, no matter what you do. And it's introduced into the school that has them there. And then there's one thing people often overlook, so I arm my teachers, but normally the only information we have, and it could also be in Oxford, is we've got a male shooting people or shooting kids in the school. And so here's a teacher trying to do the right thing, and I'm entering there and I see a male, with a gun out in front of them, and I eliminate what I think is a threat, and then I take out the good guy too.
Yeah, and Tom, I hate to jump in and disrupt you, but the clock is up against us. Please hold on for a moment. We're back after this.
The YMCA of Saginaw is where Cindy rediscovered her joy of swimming, and through a personal trainer, learned the proper way to build muscle, flexibility, and confidence. And now it's also where she sees friends in a yoga class and attends educational lunch and learn programs. This season, the YMCA is transforming lives. Join the Saginaw YMCA today, and new members experience no membership dues till January. Stay a year, and we'll reward you with 3 free months.
Let me tell you about the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. It's mac and cheese season, folks, and we created a menu dedicated to its dangerously creamy goodness. How about tangy Cajun chicken, smoked bourbon street sausage, crispy southern fried chicken? We got all the macs to get your taste buds jumping. Ooh-wee. So get your axe up to the Lumberjack Restaurant of West Branch, exit 212, I-75, where hunger goes to die.
This is important news. If you have unfiled tax returns, the IRS is shifting gears and ramping up investigations on non-filers this year. If you fail to file your tax returns for a year or more, or you owe back taxes, now's the time to call Optima Tax Relief before the IRS finds you. Optima is America's #1 most trusted tax resolution firm, specialized in helping individuals, families, and businesses get right with the IRS. They're experts in the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, a powerful new program that can make resolving tax issues easier. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, Optima's award-winning team has helped thousands of people protect their paychecks, bank accounts, homes, and businesses by putting their tax problems to rest, resolving over $1 billion in tax debts for their clients. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, I lost track of the time during that conversation with Tom Meinsberg. Thank you so much to Tom for his expertise and to all of you for your calls. Stick around. We've got news next, and then we'll continue the conversation on The Art Lewis Show.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Omicron cases are surging. The CDC says they've now been confirmed in 36 states, and hospitalizations among the unvaccinated are skyrocketing in some of them, including Minnesota. Dr. Shirley G is a hospitalist with Hennepin Healthcare in Minneapolis.
Many of us are starting to feel helpless because we've been living this crisis for so long.
Correspondent Meg Oliver.
According to the CDC, those who are unvaccinated are 8 times more likely to be hospitalized and 14 times more likely to die from COVID compared to the fully vaccinated. Around 65% of eligible Americans have 2 doses of the vaccine, but only around 30% of people over 18 have their booster.
As more tornado victims in Kentucky head to shelters to keep warm, an unusual December storm system has left hundreds of thousands of customers without power in the Midwest. This man's flight was canceled out of Denver International.
Better be safe and get there and arrive alive than to have yourself in an unsafe situation.
Prosecutors are expected to wrap up their case today against the white Minnesota police officer charged with shooting Dante Wright to death. Kim Potter claims she was mistakenly pulling out her gun instead of her taser. A use of force expert, Seth Stoughton, testified yesterday.
The use of a taser under the circumstances was unreasonable.
Wright was black. He was killed during a traffic stop. The EPA is tightening the rules for levels of lead in drinking water. Correspondent Cammie McCormick has the details.
The Biden administration wants to replace all of the nation's lead service lines using funds from the infrastructure bill. The EPA has now announced its first investment of nearly $3 billion to help replace aging pipes. Lead can cause developmental and neurological issues. The administrator of the agency wants to replace all lead water pipes as quickly as possible and wants new testing requirements.
The Biden administration's just announced it's imposing new sanctions on Chinese biotech and surveillance companies that support the country's military over the country's human rights abuses against Uyghur Muslims. The Treasury Department is expected to unveil more sanctions later today. A longtime sitcom star is out. Variety says Jeff Garlin won't be returning to ABC's The Goldbergs.
Home! Don't anybody bother me.
HR reportedly investigated the actor's on-set behavior after a string of misconduct allegations. Garland denied wrongdoing in a recent interview with Vanity Fair. The Dow is up 159 points. This is CBS News.
With Indeed Instant Match, just sponsor a post and immediately receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family.
proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar. Whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners, it's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
This is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 60 degrees at 10:05. Good morning. I'm Ann Williams. Congressman Dan Kildee will be visiting Saginaw today to meet with regional transit officials and hold a news conference discussing new federal funding to make Michigan's public transportation more reliable, safer, and more accessible. Taking place just before 11 at the Rosa Parks Transit Center in Saginaw, representatives, including STAR's executive director Glenn Steffens and other local business leaders, will be in attendance to discuss the recently approved infrastructure law, which includes $1 billion for Michigan over the next 5 years to improve public transportation, and other federal funds coming to help repair roads, replace bridges, remove lead pipes, and expand high-speed broadband internet statewide. A violation of the Civil Rights Act, that's what Bay City NAACP President Daryl Newton said of comments made by a Bay City Public Schools school board member. WSGW's Rick Antonio has more.
The statement released by the NAACP is calling for the removal of trustee Thomas Baird from the school board after several city commissioners say he made disparaging remarks towards an African-American applicant during calls to review nominees for the previously vacant 3rd Ward commissioner seat. The school board disavowed Baird's comments at its November 8th meeting, which he was absent from after a letter from the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce calling for his resignation, but no comment has been heard from Baird on the matter. Now, more than a month later, Baird has resumed attending school board meetings, and the NAACP says if no other initiative is taken to remove him, it will be forced to pursue other action to resolve the matter. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
Michigan State began announcing its 2022 recruiting class during Wednesday's National Signing Day and did so with a classy gesture. The first athlete the Spartans named to their 2022 class was Oxford High School running back Tate Meyer, one of 4 victims of the recent mass shooting at his school. Coach Mel Tucker said he recently learned that Michigan State was Meyer's dream school.
We are honored to recognize Tate Meyer as the first Spartan Dog of the 2022 class. A Spartan Dog is defined not by the plays they make on the field, but by the character they exemplify, the leadership they bring to their team and their community, and for extraordinary individuals like Tate Meyer, their heroism. Tate is and always will be a Spartan Dog. Tate Meyer had an unmatched work ethic, athleticism, and love for his teammates.
Meyer was a junior and had recently visited the University of Toledo as a recruit prior to the tragedy. WSGW News Time is 10:07.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
WSGW News Time is 10:09. With holiday and New Year's celebrations coming up quickly, local fire officials are urging once again to exercise care and common sense.
In many ways, it is common sense precautions we're talking about, but as the holiday season gets busy, accidents do happen. The goal of fire chiefs like Dave Brogan from Dearborn Heights, who reached out to us, is to make sure to get the word out. Tops on the list, the chief says, is to keep those Christmas trees well watered.
Fingers crossed that we're getting this message out to everyone who's hearing us talk today, and they're remembering to check for the water, because a well-watered tree really doesn't burn that well. People have tried to start fires, before just making a campfire or something. If you have wet wood, it's not going to, live wood, it doesn't burn very well.
Other tips include looking over those holiday lights for any frayed wires, don't overload electrical outlets, and don't put foil or coated gift wrap in the fireplace. And lastly, the chief says, and arguably most important, is to watch out for unattended candles. He says those lead to many more fires than do Christmas trees.
WSGW News Time is 10:10. When you see news happening, call the WSGW Newsroom at 752-0790. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. A wind advisory remains in effect here for the forecast area. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today, with temperatures steady early then slowly falling throughout the day. Windy southwest winds around 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting as high as 50. And then for tonight, partly cloudy sky conditions, a low near 29. By Friday, mostly sunny, high of 37 degrees. Then on Saturday, a chance for some snow showers here, cloudy and a high of 35. Sunday, mostly sunny, high around 32. Then by Monday, mostly sunny sky conditions, we'll see high around 39. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 61.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And with that, we welcome you into the 10 o'clock hour of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Thanks for being with us on this record-breaking December weather day. It's probably, I'll give you about a three club wind if you're out there trying to get in 9 or 18 today. When's the last time you remember on December 16th being able to perhaps put on shorts and maybe go out and walk 9 holes? I have to think that somewhere in the Great Lakes Bay region there are some golf courses that are open. And not a great day for a bike ride unless you're in really, really good shape. However, a fantastic opportunity to get the kite out. Does anybody still fly kites? I don't know. I guess I don't see a whole lot of that. But either way, the idea of a white Christmas is looking very remote. It right now feels like we all were transported to Orlando. And it's the December Orlando day where you can do pretty much anything you'd like to. Hey, by the way, I'm Bill Hobson, sitting in for Art Lewis. Art will be hopefully back behind the microphone on Monday. He had a little automobile dust-up yesterday and is recovering from that impact. And we are praying for Art. We want a quick recovery, and hopefully the discomfort will lessen as the weekend goes by. And he'll be back behind this microphone, I guarantee you, as soon as he possibly can, without a doubt. In the last hour, we focused our attention on, school safety. The unfortunate, the terrible incident that unfolded in Oxford has prompted a lot of that conversation. And our guest last hour was Tom Meinsberg from Critical Incident Management. I want to say a thank you to Tom for joining us. I sort of lost track of the clock as we got near the end of the hour, and I didn't have time to bring him back on the air and just properly say thank you for your expertise and for your time. And so I do want to do that publicly because he brought to our discussion some very valuable insights. And thankfully, in this hour, we get to sort of flip the script a bit and celebrate some really good things happening in the school world as we welcome onto the program two guests. Don Killingbeck is the superintendent of Hemlock Public Schools, and I'm going to let him help introduce our other guest, Tom Lockwood, because the two of them have quite a story to share. So, Don, good morning. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. Thank you for having us on the Art Lewis Show.
Hey, man, we want to tell good news stories. Our world needs more good news, and what we will dig into in this hour is filled with good news in the launch of a powerful STEM Center, a program that involves robotics and technology and training kids for, I think, the future that lies ahead, technology-wise. So I'm excited about all of this, and let me have you kind of serve as co-host for a moment and introduce Tom Lockwood to everybody.
Well, we're super excited to have Tom Lockwood join us. He's currently serving as our Director of Fundraising here at Hemlock Public School District. But before that, he was our Director of Technology. And Tom is a STEM champion. And the Lockwood STEM Center is in part named after him, and services as a hub for our area and our region for STEM education and robotics. Lots of exciting opportunities. So Tom is no stranger to STEM and robotics and technology. He's a veteran and a champion. He's actually a STEM star as well in our region.
Man, Tom, your resume is looking better and better. This introduction, I think you want to keep Don around just to introduce you wherever you go.
Yes, I should have asked. I should have asked for a bigger raise while I was working full time for Don. So, yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, Don.
Well, Don, for the uninitiated, let's define STEM. We hear the phrase a lot. We hear that terminology. What does it mean?
Well, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, something that we're committed to making sure that our students have plenty of opportunities in, experience with, and there's so many tremendous opportunities with careers and abilities for kids to leave school here, go to college, and go to the workforce, and have those experiences that they've had here carry over.
It's so funny. I was looking back on my days in school, which for me was a long time ago, right? I graduated high school in 1986. So technology back then was rather archaic. We probably felt like we were advanced at that time. I remember taking a computer coding programming class, and it was the programming language known as BASIC. It was basic computer programming. Line 10 would say, print hello. Line 20 would say, go to line 10. And then you would start it, and it would just fill the screen with the word hello because it kept looping back into itself. And I felt like I was perhaps destined for a career at NASA with just that little bit of knowledge. My goodness, how the world has changed. We now hold in our hands smartphones that have the computing power of mission control in the Apollo 11 days. That entire room staffed with dozens of engineers. So how do you put together a STEM center that not only takes care of the current technological needs, but kind of leaves room for growth because the developments change so rapidly?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And not only is it the equipment, of course, which is the challenge, but it's also, what do you do for human resources? Unfortunately, because of our FIRST Robotics program. We have engineers from next year that work with the kids every night. We have computer scientists from Dow Chemical Company working with them. So that's the thing that really separates us from a lot of other programs. You not necessarily have people that are trained educators, but they're actually professionals in what they do, and they continually get refreshed. They work in the field every day, and the kids have the opportunity to learn about what true industry professionals both do as a job, and also to be able to gain some of that knowledge from them as well.
Yeah, I think it stands to benefit the community when corporations step in and say, hey, let us be a part of this because you're growing our future workforce. And Don, I have to think that's one of the selling points in the STEM Center.
Absolutely. You know, the overabundance of career opportunities for kids in this realm, you know, just allows us to help be part of that pipeline at the Lockwood STEM Center where kids are getting, you know, and I think the big piece here is that it is real world. It's not like you're just sitting in a classroom or you're just in a shop. It is a matter of like kids have meetings, they design something, they program it on a 3D printer, they print it off, and then they're assembling. So it's the whole workforce, that whole work environment mentality. And yes, some kids will specialize in coding and another one in driving and such, but they do have that broad, you know, vision of what happens in the workforce.
When you first introduced the idea of a partnership, and this was probably a question for Tom, when you first talked to the folks at Dow, or you first talked to the folks at maybe the semiconductor or wherever next year, were they pretty quick to realize the impact that this program could have, not just on the young people, but on their businesses as well? Or did it take a little convincing?
It really didn't take any convincing. Like any project that size, it took a little while to gain traction, but people got it immediately. I mean, if we look at, you know, the U.S. Department of Labor forecasts that there are 2.5 million job openings in STEM and STEM-related occupations. And these people at Semiconductor and Dow and some of our other local partners like Kirky Manufacturing, Saginaw Control and Engineering, Fullerton Tool, they all understand that they have a hard time finding people with the right quiver of STEM tools. So, yeah, they get it completely. They've been good about encouraging people to be involved in our program. You know, last night we had 20 kids working through rotations in the STEM Center, again, with these professionals. And they get a chance to do some soldering, to do some computer programming, to learn how to drill holes, tap holes, and rivet. And, you know, some of these kids will certainly never pursue any kind of a career like that, but it's just so exciting to see their interest in subjects that they really don't have any idea or feeling for.
Well, I love the idea of catering and education to the strengths of the student. And I say that because there are some young people who are really gifted and kind of composed to learn from a book, learn in a classroom setting where there's an instructor and there's a whiteboard or there's a smart board these days, and able to take that instruction, take it home, learn from the book, apply it, and they're good to go. And then there are some who are just geared in their composition to be hands-on learners, where sitting at a desk is not suited for them. And it's taken, I think, schools a long time to get to the point where they realize that they could tailor the educational experience to best suit the student instead of trying to force feed the student into the formula or the pattern of the education experience. Boy, this STEM program surely seems to lend itself to those young people who love to have hands-on and are going to learn far more in that setting than they might if it was a traditional textbook environment. Is that the main draw, Don, of STEM?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, when you talk about hands-on, hands-on certainly is an applicable term when it comes to welding stuff or using a chop saw or CNC machining something. But, a lot of this stuff, like even the computer programming, is not taught necessarily effectively if it's just in a classroom environment. When you get these kids out there in the STEM Center and they have a big 120-pound robot that has to perform autonomous functions, and they're actually programming to make it move and turn and perform other complex tasks, that's a whole different programming experience than writing Hello World, like, we've all done in a basic programming class. I can't tell you how many programming classes I've started in my life, but without any real reason to learn, you just don't get to be very good at that stuff.
Yeah, that's very true. I was very encouraged. I was talking to a young man. He and his father, I should say his father and I have worked together for quite some time. And normally he would be preparing for wrestling and for football and things like that. And he just decided, he told me just a few months ago that this time around he was going to put a new robotics program at his school in Genesee County. And at first I thought, oh, he's going to miss it. He's going to miss it. He's going to wish he was out there. And boy, he's loving every minute of it. He can't get enough of it because it has stimulated the part of his brain that perhaps was waiting for something that would be challenging. He's a very smart young man, be very challenging and open up these opportunities to not only learn, but to also innovate at the same time. It's this wide open frontier these days where I think any good idea will find an audience in the world of technology. We're seeing that spring up time and time again. And I love the idea of being able to encourage your students to not only learn, but to also think creatively, because now they can actually visualize the tools that are in front of them. And so, Tom, your name's on it's the Lockwood STEM Center. So, this has to be a source of pride for you when you see the light bulb go on in the mind of a young student.
Well, yeah, it's incredible. I was technology director here, as Don said, for 22 years, and I've seen a lot of programs affect kids, but the first robotic stuff is really special. And I have a son who will be graduating from Michigan Tech this next spring, so I can personally tell you that him being exposed to robotics in high school let him think, you know what, I think that this engineering stuff is something I'm interested in. He never would have been exposed to it any other way. So he went up there thinking he was going to be a mechanical engineer. He's now he'll graduate with a degree in computer science. And it's just, it's an absolutely wonderful opportunity for kids to experience something that they really wouldn't in a normal classroom environment. And it's seeing the kids really learn, but more important than that, to actually have them become inspired to investigate some of these STEM opportunities that exist.
Let me ask the two of you to hold on for a moment, if you don't mind. We'll take a break here on the Art Lewis Show. We'll come back and talk about maybe some of the existing needs as the Lockwood STEM Center is getting off the ground, or maybe some more funding opportunities, or perhaps opportunities for businesses in the Great Lakes Bay region to begin interacting with the students. We'll pick up that part of the conversation after this on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Today's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Bearded Axe in Saginaw. You are going to get half off of 1 hour of axe throwing for a group of 4. It's an $80 value that you are getting for only $40. And the Bearded Axe is for everyone. It's a great place to take the whole family for an hour of axe throwing at the Bearded Axe in Saginaw. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened higher, extending yesterday's rally. Investors are encouraged by the Federal Reserve pulling back of its economic stimulus and plans to raise interest rates next year to contain inflation. The Bank of England has raised interest rates today by 0.25 percentage point. The number of new claims for jobless benefits rose by 18,000 last week to 206,000. Though new claims remain at levels not seen since 1969, a sign that companies are holding on to their workers. Groundbreakings for new homes rose 12% in November, and permits for new construction were up 4%. Qantas Airways is dropping Boeing as its preferred supplier. It's placing a major order with Airbus. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
When Natalie was diagnosed with cancer, she took control of her health. When Natalie wanted to help other people with cancer, she became a doctor. When Natalie wanted to make quality care affordable, she became a researcher. When Natalie's patients needed innovative treatments, she found them. Conquer Cancer supports researchers like Dr. Natalie McKenzie, so we can conquer every cancer for every patient, everywhere. Cancer research saves lives. Learn more at conquer.org. That's conquer.org.
Give the gift they want this year. A new iPhone 12 from Pure Talk for just $479. Pure Talk gives you great prices and great 5G coverage with unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. The average family saves over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save 50% off your first month and save on a new iPhone. Dial pound 250 and say Jill 50. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The Saginaw Spirit play here.
Back door wide open, it's Bloom. He scores!
That was a good play right there.
The Saginaw Spirit return to action this Friday night when they host the Windsor Spitfires at the Dell Center. Tune in for game time coverage beginning at 6:50 p.m. on 100.5 FM News Radio WSGW. Plenty of seats are still available for this Friday and Saturday night's games. Visit SaginawSpirit.com for ticket information.
Saginaw Spirit Hockey is on WSGW.
Well, it is almost Christmas time. Doesn't feel like it outside, but it is. In fact, if you want to know how close it is, just ask the kids at Hemlock, because I'm sure Don Killingbeck, who's the superintendent there, they have the countdown calendars up. It's almost time for Christmas break, and no matter how warm or cold it is, every student is aware of when that day arrives. And in fact, what is the day for Hemlock? When are you done for Christmas?
Our last day is next Wednesday, and so there's 4 more wake-ups.
4 more wake-ups. You're keeping those poor kids until the last minute, man. Come on, let's go tomorrow. Let's move the calendar up a little bit.
You know, it's funny you say that. We're actually a county-wide system, so all the public schools in our county start break next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the day. Excuse me.
Well, it's everybody's got the countdown calendar. They're all ready to go. Tom Lockwood, I want to ask you a couple more questions, and I'll let you go. And I want to ask Don some superintendent related questions from the Lockwood STEM Center. What needs do you still have? Are you still looking to the community? I heard in your introduction that you're the director of friend raising, which my ears tell me is also the director of fundraising. So how's it going, and what needs do you still have?
Well, we have ongoing costs. Every year there's a lot of money that goes into equipment, designing and building robots. At our facility as well, we continually offer new programs. We're working on some ideas with the Saginaw ISD for some programs this summer. So I would say anyone interested in supporting STEM education, we certainly can use some help here at Hemlock Public School District. And also, look around if you're associated with another high school in the area. Make a generous donation to their robotics team. It's a really tough thing you're dealing with all volunteers, and sometimes it's really hard just trying to get ends to meet when you're involved in kind of a high profile, high stakes, expensive program like that.
Yeah, how much have you already had to raise to launch the STEM Center?
Well, the STEM Center itself was a $385,000 project. And as I said, we had a lot of help. HSD contributed $125,000. Pumford Construction, really, they provided all the engineering and really made sure that we had good deals on all the equipment to put the building together. It's a beautiful facility, and we're sharing it with Freeland, St. Charles, Swan Valley, and Merrill. We have a really nice, they're not there every night, but we have a really large playing field available for everybody to use. So, yeah, it's expensive. It's been expensive, but it does, we're providing really, truly world-class opportunities for students in the area. And I think that's the thing that's really important. I think that our kids here in Hemlock, Michigan, and other school districts in Saginaw County deserve the same opportunities that kids from more affluent communities like Oakland County have. And so, Don and I share that vision very clearly, that our kids deserve the best, and we're not afraid to work really hard to make sure that they get it.
Yeah, very cool. I love it. Love it. It's preparing kids for the future. And man, folks, I want you to know this, and I know that on a broad scale, the listening audience of the Art Lewis Show tends to be my age and up, right? So I'm just here to tell you, if you've lost touch with technology, it's a very different world than it was even 10 years ago, let alone 30 or 40. And if we want these young people to be prepared to be active earners, workers, engineers, innovators, inventors, then we've got to provide them with that level of education when they are in that, especially in that junior and senior high part of life. And if it stokes the fire within them, they'll pursue it. They'll continue into college and beyond, into different trade opportunities. And with many of these companies that have stepped up to be part of the Lockwood STEM Center. Tom, thank you for kind of bringing us inside your baby. And one of these days, I'd love to come and tour it myself and just see what it's like in there, and I'll be amazed. I just want to go right to the workstation where I can still go back and do basic programming, because that's really all I got.
Yes, and we'll be able to get you there as well. We'll have you drive a robot. Thanks, Bill, very much. Yeah, we have some drones you can crash into the walls as well. So Lots of fun stuff to do. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, Tom, we're going to let you go. Don, if you don't mind hanging on, I've got a few superintendent-related questions for you. We'll ask on the other side of the break as it connects us back to our discussion in the first hour about school safety. And I think that parents everywhere are that's top-of-mind awareness right now. So stick around. We'll have more conversation with Don Killingbeck from Hemlock Schools after this on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
Hi, this is Jessica. It's time to check out United Financial Credit Union and experience the credit union difference. From youth accounts to retirement accounts, we can help you with all of your financial needs. Here at United Financial Credit Union, we've been committed to our communities since 1964 and strive to provide long-term financial stability to our members and their families. Whether you need a loan or are looking for a safe place for your savings, You will always be treated as our top priority. Not a member? Why not? It's never been easier to open an account. It's time for you to check out your local friendly credit union and see how we will put you first.
Must meet eligibility requirements, federally insured by the NCUA.
We're where you work, where you live. United Financial Credit Union. Serving the Valley community.
One of the great tenors is coming. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort proudly presents Jonathan Antoine, Saturday night, December 18th. The musical sensation of Britain's Got Talent, Jonathan Antoine. Tickets start at $25. On sale now at the Soaring Eagle and Eagles Landing box offices or online at etix.com. The majesty and grace of one of the great young tenors, Jonathan Antoine at Soaring Eagle Casino. Enjoy a magical Christmas with Jonathan Antoine, Saturday night, December 18th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Tickets on sale now. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Spectrum Business knows small businesses are always looking to cut expenses. That's why we offer the best value on fast internet and phone. But we wanted to do more. So, how does 1 month free sound? Get 200 megabit per second internet for $49.99 a month and business phone for $19.99 a month. And right now, you can get 1 month of internet and phone and even TV for free. Call 855-258-5887 and switch to Spectrum Business. Restrictions apply.
There's confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. One thing is certain, whether you're vaccinated or not, you need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, the leading sign of flu and COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers that have no scientific studies. Only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
We continue here on the Art Lewis Show. Bill Hobson sitting in for Art Lewis. Our phone numbers, by the way, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts you'd like to share, 989-752-6111 and 866-790-WSGW. Our guest on the line is Don Killingbeck. He's the superintendent of Hemlock Public Schools, and we've spent the last, 40-ish minutes singing the praises of the new Lockwood STEM Center and the awesome opportunities that provides for students. And Don, I asked you to stick around a little bit because in the first hour of the show today, we had a very serious conversation about school safety. We had Tom Meinsberg on from Critical Incident Management. And of course, in the aftermath of the Oxford tragedy, that issue is on our minds. I just wanted to ask you, how has that helped shape anything maybe policy-wise or awareness-wise in Hemlock and in surrounding schools? It's such a, hit so close to home.
Yeah, I think that there's a number of things that happen under the surface with school safety that that parents in the general community might not be aware of. I mean, we've got a lot of technology pieces, a lot of equipment, plans that are all under the surface. And so for us, that situation, that tragedy, that we all mourn and are very concerned and sad about, has raised the level of awareness for across the region and our nation.
Yeah, it's grabbed everybody. It doesn't matter if you don't have kids in school. It still hits very close to home. And we talked in that conversation a bit about copycats and how schools were reacting to social media or perhaps called in threats. And in one school district down in Southwest Michigan, there was a threatening message that was, I think, written on a bathroom wall or something. Just really stupid stuff. But it did cause them to close down a bit early, because who can take the risk these days? Has Hemlock seen any of the copycat kind of thing since Oxford?
We have not, but probably one of the most concerning things is just the dissemination of information. Mm-hmm. And so, what we've seen across, the state is that information is mishandled and communicated out from whether it be kids communicating it or parents communicating it without knowing facts. And I think that, social media is so powerful for the good, but it's also powerful in the wrong way as well. And so I think it's just everybody's responsibility when they're hitting that share button or communicating something. They need to be very cautious that they actually have the real facts.
Yeah. I have a belief, a very strong belief, that in all of these incidents, whether it's way back at Columbine or moving forward into Parkland and Sandy Hook, and of course at Oxford, and I'm sure I'm skipping over some others that caught the national attention. In all of these cases, I have yet to hear of the perpetrator coming from a healthy, loving, faith-centered, two-parent home where they have their act together, where they're a healthy family. I don't mean perfect, I just mean healthy. And I'm wondering if you have any encouragements or thoughts you'd like to share with parents and grandparents who may be listening to our conversation right now, about some of the things perhaps they could look for and keep an eye out for, and strike up conversations if they have concerns about.
Likewise, the one thing that you notice is a theme in a lot of these situations is the lack of connection. And so we really focus from a school standpoint. We encourage our parents, our families, extended families, encourage kids to be engaged, be part of something. Because when kids, and including adults, when they're part of something and they feel like part of a extended family, so to speak, these incidences aren't occurring with those that are engaged and are in a part of a healthy team, or, they're not necessarily the kids that are in robotics, in band, in the performing arts, in the athletics. So that, when they're engaged in the school community beyond the classroom, those kind of incidences, if there's any, are very low numbers. And so we really encourage people to have students engaged in activities, engaged in extracurricular as much as possible.
I'm so glad you said that. It actually reminded me of a statement that my pastor made in a message several months ago now, but it has really stuck with me. And he said that we are, in America, the most technologically connected society, perhaps in the history of the world, and yet we are also among the loneliest and most isolated ever, as we tend to dive into our devices and into our screens and things like that, and leave out the interpersonal interaction and connection, just like you're mentioning, which is one of the reasons that I really get excited about the STEM Center and how it could reach out to students who might not otherwise be engaged in a teamwork situation.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that, we've been saying, and I've been saying this for, the better part of 2 decades, is that the most successful students of this next generation will have the good graces of their grandparents, being able to look people in the eyes and shake someone's hands, have the technical skills of their peer. And I think that, what we're trying to accomplish here, we're a leader in innovation, but we're also a leader in collaboration. And that means working with people, having relationships, being able to look people in the eyes, having that connectedness. Huskies run in packs. And so, we're a family animal. We have that community. And so we think it's so important for school safety, for general success of our students, that you have that sense of community.
Yeah, that's so well said. Well, thank you for sticking around for a few more moments, Don. I appreciate it. And congratulations on the success of the Lockwood STEM Center. And I'm also glad to hear that it's a collaborative effort in the business and in the education community, as neighboring districts can come together and all be part of that. It serves all of us well when young people are innovating and engaged. So we wish you nothing but the best and have a great Christmas. And just know, that if you take a vote today, my vote is that Hemlock just calls it Christmas break tomorrow afternoon.
I wish it was that easy. I wish your vote could be counted.
I'm pandering for student support, if you can't tell. I think they would all be on my side.
They would be on your side. We have until the middle of June. So.
That's very true. That's very true. Don, thank you so much.
Yes, you have a great day. Thanks so much.
We'll take another break here on the Art Lewis Show and come back to wrap up the 10 o'clock hour.
What's the most important part of a retirement plan?
Income is king because we only need income. And if you don't have an income plan, you don't have a retirement plan.
That's Kevin Ray, financial coach at Insight Folios. Kevin tells his listeners every week about the importance of income planning, minimizing taxes, and strategies to lead a worry-free retirement. Learn all about that and get your own complimentary financial review by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Are you an HR professional, community leader, or business owner? Join us in creating a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. To learn more, visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
Furnished by the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Give the gift they want this year. A new iPhone 12 from Pure Talk for just $479. Pure Talk gives you great prices and great 5G coverage with unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. The average family saves over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save 50% off your first month and save on a new iPhone. Dial pound 250 and say Jill 50. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The WSGW Morning Team Show.
WSW online poll, favorite Christmas music, with Billboard magazine recently releasing its list of the greatest of all-time holiday songs, a list based on actual performances on Billboard's Holiday 100 from its inception from 2011 through 2021. Our poll question for you, we want you to vote for your favorite Christmas song of the top 20 from the Billboard list we offer, or write in your own if you so choose. That is what you can do when you go to WSGW.com, scroll down the homepage and find the online poll box, click on it, and vote that way. By By the way, it will be a double click. You click on the poll box itself, then you'll have to make an extra click to get into this particular poll so you can write in if you so choose. WSW online poll.
For inquiring minds want to know, what song did you put in there, Charlie?
Well, I actually wrote one in Amy Grant's Breath of Heaven. She does a beautiful job.
I'm typing in Christmas, don't be late, the Chipmunks. There we go.
The Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
Well, hearing that promo for the morning show where they're asking about your favorite Christmas song, I don't know what my favorite one would be, but I think I have a new leader in the clubhouse for my least favorite. And that's a pretty stiff competition, by the way, because, I mean, really, there are some horrendous Christmas songs that seem to get radio play for reasons that I'll never understand, especially if you have one of the satellite subscriptions or one of the streaming music services. I Need a Little Christmas right this very minute is my current leader in the worst Christmas song ever competition. I cannot think of a song that more accurately summarizes the 2021 consumer mindset more than I Need a Little Christmas right this very minute. The song just drives me crazy. Hey, I've really enjoyed our focus conversation this morning. I shouldn't use the word focus because that's the name of the next show that I'm doing, but our conversations this morning that have centered around young people, both from the safety standpoint in light of what happened in Oxford and in the encouraging and exciting future standpoint with technology and the STEM Center, the Lockwood STEM Center. I love that focus. And I want to remind all of us, especially those of you who have, let's say 60 or more birthday candles on the cake. If we lose sight of the plight of our young people, we do it at our own peril. These are the future leaders, the teachers, the pastors, the parents, the police officers, the mayors, the governors, the presidents. These are the future leaders. And if we aren't conscious of their well-being now, it will come back to bite us in a while. And I could probably go on for a good hour or so and talk about how we are currently living with the effects of the young people who in the 1970s were left to their own devices, and now they're in charge. How are you liking it? Right? So let us do well to prepare for future generations by doing well when it comes to our interactions with our awareness of and our care about young people. So when they come from tragically dysfunctional homes, we better be aware of these things and step in to help. When they have a propensity for technology and innovation, let's not try to cram them into a small shoebox that says you sit behind that desk and you just sit there and learn, because that may not be how they're wired. And I love the thoughtfulness of a STEM program that reaches out in that way and perhaps stokes the fire of a young person who otherwise felt like, there's nothing in this for me, so why should I pay attention? I don't want to go all Dionne Warwick and start singing the Children Are Our Future song, but it is theoretically, it's true, right? So for the older I get, the more I need to consciously remind myself that young people do matter. And we are a few weeks away from welcoming a grandson into the world. And maybe that's why I'm having these thoughts more and more often. I don't know. But I do know that where we currently are as a culture is not in a very healthy spot. And perhaps the next wave of leaders can help make it better. We'll take our final break and come back to wrap up the Art Lewis Show for this Thursday after this.
This season, there's a new choice for your fields. Zetavo soybean seed, designed with triple stacked Enlist E3 technology for weed control flexibility. Supported by a dedicated team of BASF agronomic experts. Protected by the versatile BASF soybean crop protection portfolio. Zetavo soybean seed, stacked in your favor. Zetavo from MS Technologies, distributed exclusively by BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you're paying too much. Switching to Pure Talk saves the average family over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill 50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, say Jill 50.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Well, we are counting down the end of the 10 o'clock hour here on the Art Lewis Show, making our way for the news here at the top of the hour. And Ann Williams will bring you up to speed on all that's happening in the Great Lakes Bay region. I am doing what we call filling time because my clock is gone and I have no ability to trigger anything else. So here we go. Hey, back in time with 10 seconds to spare as we take a break for the news and then focus on the other side of that. Bill Hobson in for Art Lewis on WSGW.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Facet Wealth.
I'm Steve Kathan. The prosecution has just rested its case in the Minneapolis trial of former suburban police officer Kim Potter. She contends the fatal shooting of Dante Wright last year was an accident. Her gun was used instead of a taser. And she spoke in court with the judge.
Do you still want to testify or have you changed your mind?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll testify.
Okay. And you don't need any more time to think about that?
No, Your Honor.
Her testimony coming soon as the defense opens its case. Health officials expect weekly COVID cases to jump by 55% by Christmas as the Omicron variant spreads. CBS's Cammie McCormick tells us the Army is the latest branch of the military to enforce its COVID vaccine mandates.
The Army says it's relieved a total of 6 active duty leaders, including 2 battalion commanders. Nearly 3,000 others have received written reprimands. Still, a statement says 98% of active duty forces have received at least 1 dose. 96% are fully vaccinated.
In Britain, where COVID cases are high, Prime Minister Boris Johnson says his holiday message is be careful.
We don't want to make your choices for you about your social life. We're not closing things. But what we are saying is people should be cautious and they should think about their activities in the run-up to Christmas.
Well, CBS's Mola Lengi is in southern Minnesota, one of many places in the Midwest battered by strong winds last night.
It's about 25, 30 degrees, but wind chill is about 11 degrees right now. And folks are just waking up this morning to the damage, to the power outages. So utility companies are going to be spending the morning and the afternoon. Hopefully they'll be able to restore power sooner than later.
The government is tightening rules for allowable levels of lead in drinking water, and CBS's Ben Tracy says that's not all.
The White House says it now has a plan to replace every lead pipe in the country that carries drinking water into homes and businesses. There are about 10 million lead pipes in the country that need to be replaced. The administration plans to spend $15 billion from the recently passed infrastructure bill to start this project, which is expected to take a decade.
The Jacksonville Jaguars fired head coach Urban Meyer after a report said an ex-player was kicked by the coach during a summer practice. Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports says Meyer had been on thin ice.
I think that's really the only surprise, is that it happens now in the middle of the game week. It was certain that Urban Meyer was not going to survive the 2021 NFL season or make it to 2022.
Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 213 points. NASDAQ is down 140. This is CBS News.
Facet Wealth, personalized and affordable financial planning for everyday Americans. No wealth or asset minimums. Quality financial advice for every stage of your life.
At Midland Furniture Garage, personal service and great design is everywhere and within all budgets. Our premium style, high quality furniture can be customized for maximum comfort. Discover our recliners, window treatments, sofas, and more by Stressless, Norwalk, Hunter Douglas, and others. Come into Midland Furniture Garage, Midland's creative source, and see what's possible for yourself. Midland Furniture Garage, 34 Ashman Circle in Midland, and online at midlandfurnituregarage.com.
Shop Mattress Firm's year-end sale and put an end to junk sleep. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase up to a $499 value. Or shop top-selling brands and get up to 50% off select mattresses, like Sealy twin mattresses starting at $224.99, or Serta twin mattresses at $349.99. And shop with confidence thanks to our low price guarantee. Only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
I vaccinate because I want to protect my daughter.
I vaccinate because these diseases can be deadly.
Because of vaccines, we tend to think of diseases like whooping cough and measles as things of the past, but they aren't. Michigan's children still get them and pass them on. Get the whole story at ivaccinate.org.
I vaccinate because I got the facts.
Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, the Franny Strong Foundation, and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 60 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Ann Williams. High winds in Michigan last night and this morning, and even hurricane force winds are expected in the UP. There was a high wind warning last night in lower Michigan, and it continues until 4 this afternoon for southeast Michigan and parts of northern Michigan. We could see wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Consumers Energy has more than 60,000 customers without power statewide, but most of them are in West Michigan, with the highest number in Muskegon, Ottawa, and Manistee counties. DTE Energy has more than 1,500 without power in southeast Michigan. A storm warning is in effect through 9 this morning, all along the state's Lake Michigan coastline. More than 400 graduates of Saginaw Valley State University will receive their academic degrees during commencement exercises Friday. Both ceremonies will be held in SVSU's Ryder Center and will be video streamed live. SVSU is also holding a commencement ceremony Saturday for those who graduated in 2020 and didn't have an in-person ceremony due to the pandemic restrictions. SVSU President Donald Bashad will deliver remarks at each ceremony. There's been a drop in the number of Michigan workers losing their jobs and filing for benefits. Here's more from Murray Feldman at the Michigan News Network.
11,925 people filed for jobless benefits last week in Michigan. That's down by almost 1,300 from the week before. The number's still elevated. It's still about twice what it should be. Nationwide, 206,000 people filed for benefits. That number jumped by 18,000 last week. And now there's concern that more people may be filing for benefits next year because nearly 8 out of 10 small business owners are counting on this holiday season for their very survival. American Express says these business owners think their holiday sales will determine whether or not they can stay open next year. Nearly half of all workers are employed in a small business. Massive closings could boost layoffs as we enter 2022. Murray Feldman, Michigan News Network.
WSGW News Time is 11:07.
This is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
WSGW News time is 11:08. The state health department is reporting more than 11,000 new cases of COVID-19 statewide. That averages to about 5,800 cases per day over the past 2 days. 100 new deaths have also been reported, along with 230 found during a check of vital records. Hospitalizations are slightly down since Monday, with more than 4,500 people currently receiving treatment. Residents of Genesee County have filed a civil rights complaint with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development over the local approval of a hot mix asphalt plant. The complaint said that Genesee Township's approval of the Ajax asphalt plant violates the Title IX, the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, the Fair Housing Act, and the Housing and Community Development Act, as well as it is part of a pattern of discrimination, they say. The asphalt plant which will emit many air contaminants, including lead, will be sited less than 1,600 feet from public housing in a low-income neighborhood that's already overwhelmed by high levels of air toxics and particulate matter from industrial activity. On the most recent edition of the Adam Schefter podcast from ESPN, Michigan's Aiden Hutchinson, considered by many experts the number one pick in this year's NFL draft, was asked about the possibility that he could be taken at number 1 by the Lions when the draft takes place next April.
I think it'd be great, to be honest with you. I'd be the hometown hero times 2. Never leaving Michigan really, and I think Dan Campbell. I think he seems like a real good guy.
The last time a Michigan player was taken with a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft happened back in 2008 when the Miami Dolphins selected Jake Long. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom 752-0790. It's 11:10. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. A wind advisory remains in effect here for the forecast area. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today, with temperatures steady early, then slowly falling throughout the day. Windy southwest winds around 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting as high as 50. And then for tonight, partly cloudy sky conditions, a low near 29. By Friday, mostly sunny, high of 37 degrees. Then on Saturday, a chance for some snow showers here, cloudy and a high of 35. Sunday, mostly sunny, high around 32. Then by Monday, mostly sunny sky conditions, we'll see high around 39. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 61.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And on this blustery Thursday, we welcome you into the Focus Show. Bill Hobson here, sitting in for Art Lewis. Art will return on Monday. I'll be with you today and tomorrow. And in Focus today, we welcome in a local business owner who's got lots of information for all of us from the world of insurance. We welcome in Ken Buck from Ken Buck Insurance. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Great. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. How's the world of insurance these days?
Well, it's confusing and complicated as always.
It is confusing. I'm glad you said that. I didn't want you to say it makes sense to everybody except for me.
Oh, it does not, because, well, and insurance has to be written in legal language, because if there's any disputes, then the attorneys end up litigating any permanent issues. So everything has to be done in a correct manner, and legal language is not always the easiest to read or understand.
That is for sure. And in that complicated world, we often will turn to an insurance agency like yours with some of these key questions. One of them that I have is the reports that I'm beginning to see of, at some point, I think in the spring, of a $400 per driver rebate because of what I think was an overcharging of the catastrophic insurance fund, something or other. Well, you make sense of it. I'm doing a terrible job of laying this one out.
Okay, so back in the 70s, we passed, the state of Michigan passed a no-fault insurance law, so that it didn't matter what insurance company you were insured with, you had unlimited lifetime medical benefit coverage. So whether your medical bills got to be $2 million, $5 million, $10 million for a really severe automobile accident, then the insurance company was responsible for paying them. And there, at the time, there was a lot of small insurance companies that were in the state of Michigan, and the state was concerned that if they had the unfortunate circumstances to have a lot of really expensive claims, that could bankrupt some really small insurance companies. So they started they formed the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association, which is an independent agency of the state, and they were responsible for all medical claims that went over $500,000. So if your medical claim was a really huge medical claim at the time, then the first $500,000 was paid for by your own insurance company, and then the MCCA assessment was for every vehicle that was insured in Michigan, no matter what insurance company you were with. So that paid for any excess claims. And then eventually that got changed, who got payment out of this fund based on court cases that happened over the years. So eventually it got stretched so much that if an accident happened in the state of Michigan, you automatically had unlimited lifetime medical benefit coverage and wage loss benefits for up to 3 years. It didn't make any difference if you lived in the state of Michigan or you didn't. It didn't make any difference if you had insurance, you didn't. You automatically had the coverage, and we just kind of sorted out who was going to pay for it. And then the MCCA assessment or the MCCA fund then took care of any of the uninsured people. So that's one of the reasons why we were paying over $200 a year per vehicle into this fund to pay for all these uninsured drivers that were having all these benefits. So eventually the state passed the new Insurance Reform Act. So that capped that fund. So no new claims would be put into that fund. And then every insured is then responsible for their own medical coverage rather than having coverage from the car you're in or the car that hit you. You're responsible for buying your own medical insurance. So the state is kind of starting to realize that with that, and then changing from reasonable and customary fees to reimburse the hospitals to going to a fee schedule that caps some of the payments that are made, they have excess money in this fund. So they're talking about sending money back to the insureds that it's going to be based on, and I don't know why they chose this date, but it's based on how many vehicles you had on your policy as of October 31st of 2021. So if you had 10 vehicles on your policy before that, and you thought, well, geez, people can't find all these used cars, I'm going to sell my cars because I can sell them for more than what they're worth. So if you've been paying into the MCCA fund for 10 cars all this time, and you sold 9 of them, so you only had 1 on your policy as of October 31st, that's all you're getting the money for. If you bought 5 cars on October 30th, and now you had 1 car in your policy, now you have 6 as of October 31st, you get the money for the 6th. So that's the arbitrary date that the state set. And
on the back end of that, does it expose some people who have had catastrophic injuries so they're left uncovered?
It does not. This is supposedly excess money that's above and beyond what will be required to take care of all the people that are getting the money out of the fund.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know we all know how politics works. Everybody is now going to race to the nearest microphone or camera to take credit for this idea of giving money back to consumers. I frankly don't care who gets the credit. I'm grateful for any sort of give back because we don't see that nearly enough. And Ken, I would think, though, that in the world of insurance and providing information to your clients, you've probably been asked a few questions about how all that works.
Yep, absolutely. So, and it's funny that you mentioned the political people running to the microphones, because the money's not actually going to be paid out until sometime the second quarter of 2022. So since the fall is an election cycle year,
go figure.
I'm guessing that they're delaying the payment of this funds. And again, I am just the messenger, don't shoot me, but I don't know why that they would be waiting until next summer to pay the money out when they know exactly how many people had how many cars on the policy as of October 31st of 2021. So they should be able to take care of the funds in a more timely manner than next summer.
One would anticipate a flurry of press conferences and photo ops when all that happens. And as you said, just a couple months before the 2022 midterms. Hold on the line, Ken, if you would. We'll talk more insurance with Ken Buck from Ken Buck Insurance after this on the Focus Show here on WSGW.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a RoofMax shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with RoofMax, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
This is the Stone Specialist Studios, 100.5 News Radio WSGW, 790 News Radio WSGW.
Well, I hope you're enjoying this lovely summer almost Christmas afternoon here in the great state of Michigan. We continue on the Focus program. Our guest is Ken Buck from Ken Buck Insurance in Freeland. So Ken, we touched on what's happening in the world of automotive insurance. Is there any other big news in the other realms of insurance that you want to make sure our audience is aware of?
Well, I wanted to touch a little bit more on the refunds coming back.
Okay.
This is not the first time in history that Michigan drivers have gotten a refund from the MCCA assessment. Back around the year 2000, 2001 or so, there was another election cycle that the insurance rates were really high, and we were paying like $15, $16 a year for the MCCA assessment. So they thought that maybe we should give some money back to our constituents. So they voted on $186 per vehicle refund back then. But then they gave too much money back, and then we were paying like $150, $160 a year for the MCCA assessment after that. So I'm hoping that this is not going to happen this time. I don't see that it should be as much of a problem because there is a cap on any new claims into the fund because of the law change, but I'm not sure. So there are some other things in the news regarding all the tornadoes that happened in the Midwest. And that's, I know, always scary because you can control some things with your house, but you cannot control a tornado or when you get sheer wind damage. So that is something that's a covered peril on all homeowners policies. So I know when people look out at those trees and they're blowing back and forth, they think, oh, if that tree limb went on my roof, I'm going to be in trouble. So that would be one thing that's really a covered peril, but still not a fun thing to go through.
And would a massive tornado like that be different than, for instance, the flooding that happened in our region, and I'm sure still has many outstanding claims?
Yes, it's a totally different scenario in that wind and hail and tornado and sheer wind is a covered peril in all homeowners policies, where flood damage and earthquake are two specific perils, two specific disasters that are not automatically covered under any homeowners policy. You have to get flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program, and then you can endorse on your policy for earthquake coverage if you're in an earthquake area, but most people in Michigan don't have to worry about that. But those are two big disasters that are not automatically covered under a homeowner's policy. So when you see these big tornadoes that went through, then you don't have to worry too much about having coverage. For instance, there was that huge tornado, was about 15 years ago, that went through Frankenmuth and destroyed like 200 houses, plus damaged the church there really bad. And that it took a while for people to get rebuilt, because when you have that many houses that are just completely destroyed, it puts a real pressure on getting lumber and other building materials in to get those houses replaced.
Well, it reminds me again of the importance of having a good conversation with your insurance agent. And if it's Ken Buck of Ken Buck Insurance, how would you like people to facilitate that, sir?
They can get a hold of me at 989-695-2525. They can email me, ken@buckinsurance.com, all spelled out, or my website is www.buckinsurance.com.
Yeah, there's just so many questions these days. I would have to think that you're playing the role of the answer man as much as you are the insurance man.
And that's very important for everyone to have this conversation about if they have any questions about coverage with their own insurance agent before a claim happens.
Yeah.
Before they have something go wrong, that's the best time to talk to their insurance agents.
Yeah, very true. Ken, thank you so much. Good to talk with you this morning, and hopefully let it be a claim-free 2022.
That's what we always hope for.
All right, thanks much.
Thank you very much.
That's Ken Buck from Ken Buck Insurance here on The Focus Show on WSGW. We'll wrap things up after this.
There's a confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. But one thing is for sure, whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer. Contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever, the leading sign of COVID and the flu. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and can miss the fever that might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms could mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Your Saginaw Spirit are back on home ice this weekend at the Dow. The Spirit will battle Western Conference rivals, the Windsor Spitfires, Friday night. Puck drop 7:05 at the Dow. Downtown Saginaw will be rocking, so don't miss the action at the Dow with your Saginaw Spirit. Great seats are still available at the Dow box office or by calling 989-497-7747. Or you can get them online at saginawspirit.com.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Well, that's going to wrap up my time behind the microphone this morning, filling in for Art Lewis. I'll be back tomorrow at 9. We'll welcome in Todd Arner from Arner Investment Management to talk about your finances. And we have another lineup of great guests. We'll take your calls as well as we round out the week and get ready for Christmas week. Enjoy this incredibly nice warm weather. And you know it won't last forever, but it's kind of nice to have it here. I'll make way for Terry Henney next here on WSGW. Have a great day.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Today's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for the Bearded Axe in Saginaw. You are going to get half off of 1 hour of axe throwing for a group of 4. It's an $80 value that you are getting for only $40. And the Bearded Axe is for everyone. It's a great place to take the whole family for an hour of axe throwing at the Bearded Axe in Saginaw. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This season, there's a new choice for your fields. Zetavo soybean seed, designed with triple stacked Enlist E3 technology for weed control flexibility. Supported by a dedicated team of BASF agronomic experts. Protected by the versatile BASF soybean crop protection portfolio. Zetavo soybean seed, stacked in your favor. Zetavo from MS Technologies, distributed exclusively by BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
Thumb Bank and Trust offers community farmers the welcome opportunity of working with people who understand the unique needs and challenges of farming. I'm Jared Fisher, Ag Specialist for Thumb Bank and Trust, and I'm also a proud farmer. All of our agricultural loan experts are working farmers, and that's just part of why Thumb Bank and Trust has been recognized as one of Michigan's premier agricultural lenders. It takes a farmer to understand the unique needs and challenges of another farmer, and it takes the lending capital available at Thumb Bank and Trust to grow a farm. Call us today or visit us at thumb.bank. We will meet you at one of our offices, in the field, or at the farm. At Thumb Bank and Trust, our relationships are built on trust. We're an old friend you can rely on. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. An equal opportunity lender and member FDIC.
Now, the only locally produced farm radio show with agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Hinney and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSG.
Visit your local Nutrient Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrientagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Being prepared for the good things and protecting yourself against the bad things is called risk management. And the folks that can take care of that for you are the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. Risk management, it's all about planning ahead because you never really know what's going to happen, just like the weather. And that's a whole nother story that the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency handles as well. You know, they are licensed to serve all of Michigan with both conventional and organic crop insurance. Their agents can be reached directly on cell phones for questions or emergencies. You can get a hold of the office if you'd like in downtown Reese, 989-868-4722. The Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. We say good morning to Melinda Sweeney. Melinda, what's going on the board right now?
Hey, Terry. Well, soybean oil is higher today with crude oil and beans up 12. The La Nina in South America is getting a little more attention as their forecast is warm and dry in Argentina. Wheat closed down 31 cents last night due to a better harvest quality in Australia and the best week of harvest this year for them.
So all in all, it's kind of put a little pressure on our markets. We had a heck of a bloodbath in the wheat complex yesterday, didn't we?
We sure did.
So are we recovering there a little bit today, or are we still taking some losses?
No, they are a little bit. They're up 10 right now.
No. What do we need? 20 more to make us even with what we had at the beginning of yesterday?
Yep, we sure would.
Yeah. Any other things going on that are generating all of this market movement right now, Melinda?
Nothing under my radar currently. We are going into the new year and a lot of holiday trading coming up. So the markets are closed next Friday and they close early the following Friday after that. So a couple of long weekends coming up.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. So what do you have on the board right now at the Andersons?
Currently, we have nearby corn at $5.38, new crop 22 corn at $4.95, nearby beans at $12.20, new crop 22 beans at $11.87, nearby red wheat at $7.05, new crop at $7.18, and nearby white wheat at $7.05 and new crop at $7.23.
So in your conversations with the farmers, whether it's in person or on the phone, what are they asking you right now?
Well, they've got a whole handful of questions. I would say everyone's got different questions this time of year, but really it's putting together a good risk portfolio moving forward to know your profits and to know where you're making money to put in target orders.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more difficult right now, given the fact that it's hard to lock in some pricing.
It definitely is. You got to plan for the high and the low side.
That's what it looks like right now. Melinda, you have yourself a great day, a nice weekend. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Sounds good. Have a good day.
You betcha. A little bit more in depth as far as what the markets are doing. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining me. The market report brought to you by Hudson. Toy tractors make great gifts. Hudson John Deere is stocked with toys at 10% off. Toys like combines, excavators, ride-on gators, and John Deere hats, clothing, and signs. From Crump to Charlotte, Lake City to Tecumseh, visit Hudson for 10% off John Deere gifts until Thursday, December the 23rd. And by the folks at the Frankenmuth Credit Union, they do have lines of credit, equipment loans, financing for purchasing land, credit cards, and more. See what they can do for you by going online to frankenmuthcu.org. Doug, good morning.
Good morning.
What are we looking at now?
Well, all goes back to 2:00 yesterday when Powell parted the Red Sea. Raised our hopes that everything is going to go back up, and he just basically turned the world around. It was ugly till he started talking. He had crude oil down, and then it was up, and now it's up another $1.80, and then all the commodity markets going with it. Gold, silver, platinum, all up 1.5% to 4.5%. Silver hit a new low yesterday before the man started talking, and instant gratification. So here's some advice: bet on the Fed every day, guaranteed.
There you go.
Take care of you. And then the European Union had an announcement yesterday. They said, we're very concerned about American tech companies influencing elections and inserting politicians where they don't belong. So they're going to talk about how they can stop that from happening in Europe like it happens here all the time too. So
wow.
Anyway, so we'll see what comes of that. You'd think that the whole world would have stood up and took notice of that, but apparently we were all listening to Jerome. So
it's just kind of a slow move, you know.
Slow degeneration.
Uh-huh.
Here's your numbers. The March corn is 5.90, up 4 1/4. The December 22 corn is 5.46.5, up 2 3/4. The January soybeans 12.77.5, up 15 cents. March soybeans 12.78, up 12 3/4. March wheat is 7.67 3/4, up 11 3/4. And then December 22 wheat is 7.71.5, up 7 3/4. Crude oil 72.40, up $1.74. Heating oil is $2.25.85, up 4.2 cents. Gasoline is $2.16.88, up 4.1 cents. And natural gas is $3.72 1/4. That's up 5.5 cents. So the Canadian dollar hit a low yesterday before all the rabble rousing going on. But right now, the U.S. dollar gets you $1.2778 at the border. That's down 52 ticks. The yen is at 113.67, down 35 ticks. The euro is at 113.12, up 27 ticks. The dollar's at 96.11, down 40 ticks. Gold's at 17.8820, up 25.60. Silver's at 22.52, up 98 cents. Platinum's at 926.70, up $32.50.
Oh, that's a bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing a power one man has.
Well, it's amazing just how thin of a line we're walking right now. I mean, any little thing is just going to tip it one way or the other. And I don't know. I still remember when I was in school, the whole idea with Nikita Khrushchev at the UN had his shoe off and he was banging the table with his shoe because he was all upset about this and that and the other thing. And his comment at that time was, I don't have to lift a finger. The press will determine what happens in a given country. And of course, he got it. Pravda kind of turned against them all back years ago. But we're looking at what we're seeing right now. Yeah. And it's not surprising at all.
That's light speed.
Yep. Amazing. Doug, you take care. Have a good one. All right.
You too.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. When we return, Jerry Samolsky will be joining us.
Whether your family farm has been passed down through generations or you're just getting started, knowledge and partnership fuel constant growth along the way. As the legacy of your farm strengthens, shared values and a never-ending commitment remain. ECH Seeds is proud to work with you to sustain your continued growth. This partnership, driven by a shared passion that never stops growing, is refined over time and cultivated in common ground.
This is Peter Maxwell, your ACH Seeds representative. Our 2022 lineup is better than ever. Crystal beet seed varieties offer a full spectrum of defensive traits combined with top-performing yield and sugar potential. And speaking of defense, ask me about the new CR Plus trait offered in select crystal varieties. Not only does this offer the potential for less spraying, but it also protects yield while doing so. I look forward to hearing from you and working toward continued success. Thanks again for partnering with ACH Seeds.
ACH Seeds. Good things come from common ground.
Are you upset with your current planter performance? Are you considering buying a new planter but blown away from sticker shock? With Precision Planting's VSET, V-Drive, and Delta Force, we can retrofit your old planter to outperform any new planter on the market. Then access all your data from planting to harvest easily with Field View. Call PC Ag Solutions today and get your parts ordered, installed, and ready to go for the upcoming growing season. 989-868-4444. PC Ag Solutions. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, makers of Exceller Meal since 1991. That's a high bypass soybean meal that's designed to maximize your dairy herd's production. For more information and a suggestion or two, why don't you get a hold of your nutritionist or local feed dealer today and tell them about Exceller Meal from Quality Roasting of Reese. Along with me, Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville, the plant of the week. Jerry, can it stand 50-mile-an-hour winds?
It absolutely can. So you're going to have to pay attention a little bit because the first word's going to send you away. It's a willow, but it is the flame willow, which is more of a shrub. Now, we keep talking about the different varieties and how many there are. There are 350 different species of salix, and that's a botanical name for willow. So there's all kinds of varieties. From when we think of willow, we think of that big weeping willow. Well, flame willow is a shrub maintained at 5 to and unpruned up to 20 feet. But it loves a pruning, and it has green leaves. It flowers, but the flowers aren't what you're getting it for. You're getting it for right now. It outperforms a red twig dogwood for twig color during the winter months like you can't believe. They're just amazing. They love to be pruned hard. They come back and resprout and do well, adaptable to a wide range of soils. And, of course, it's a willow, so it doesn't mind wetter soils, more boggy soils, and does really, really well. Hardy, no insects or diseases that'll bother it hard. You know, it might get a little bump on its leaf now and then, but it's a great plant. Does really well. And right now you can use those branches, cut them, and use them for holiday arrangements. They're beautiful.
Do you have any at the yard at the Landscape Center?
We sure do.
You do? I'll be.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting. You know, I love, and there are places where they have willow trees, the big ones. They are so spectacular. I mean, they make a statement, but unfortunately, they also make a statement on the ground beneath them.
They are a constant mess, Gary. But these are a lot different. They're a shrub. They do quite well. They're good for screening and blocking in this wind. They'll help cut that wind down dramatically, even with no leaves.
So if you don't prune it, kind of let it grow, they'll go as high as 20 feet, you think?
They will. They absolutely will. But pruned, you can keep them 5 to 8, 10 feet real easy. And again, we grow them out here in the nursery for our evergreen containers or the winter containers that we're making for holiday pots. We've got 100 of them lined out. We shear them back and cut them right to the ground. They come right back up every year. We get nice straight shoots, 6 to 10 feet, and they're just beautiful.
That is really neat. Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center. Give us your address. Where are you located?
We're over in Essexville on Bowtell Road, just north of M25 or Center Avenue. So, you can come find us anytime. You can look us up, baylandscaping.net. You'll find us and come say hi.
All right. You have a good one. Have a nice weekend, Jerry.
Yep. Thank you. You too, Jerry.
You bet. Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency is next.
How bad is inflation hitting the U.S. car business? Hi, I'm Steve Cook from Cook Chevy Buick Ambassador, and the answer to that question depends on where you live. Let me explain. Right now, I'm looking at a loaded 2022 Silverado pickup that has a sticker price of $47,000. At Cook Chevrolet with the GM family discount, that truck would sell for under $40,000. But Chevy dealers in the rest of the country would buy that same truck from us for over $50,000, and their customers would pay them even more. Good news is that Cook Chevrolet won't sell that truck to an out-of-state dealer. We want to sell it to you, our customer. And in fact, right now you can lease that truck for just $334 a month. And right now we've got Chevy Blazers starting at only $256 a month. Isn't it time for you to beat inflation? Get out today. That's the Cook GM Superstore, M15, top of the hill in Bass.
Payments based on 36-month GM employee and family lease. $576 on Blazer, $805 on Silverado due at signing. Visit us online at cookchevybuick.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Farm Service brought to you by the folks at Steiner Tractor Parts. New parts for old tractors. That's what they're all about, and they've been about for years. They do a great job of getting those new parts. 800-234-3280. Or go to their website for more information at steinertractor.com. We say good morning to Craig Voorhees. Craig, we've been talking about getting things together for the end of the year. I think you got a little advice for us today as far as buying things before the end of the year.
Right, Terry. There's a flurry of activity besides dodging trash cans today, which is I'm doing in my neighborhood.
Oh, something else, isn't it?
Yeah, folks are... Pardon me?
Something else, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But folks are busy doing their year-end purchasing, whether it be vehicles or equipment or even toys. And, a lot of folks are putting deposits down, and the vehicle or piece of equipment, they may not be taking possession of it for a few months when it finally does show up. So don't forget, we don't need to know about the purchase until you actually take possession. So if you buy it or put a deposit on it now, don't forget to call your agent when you actually get the item that you're purchasing.
But first and foremost, get it done so you don't forget, and then you get it and something happens.
Right. Yes. It doesn't hurt to even just call us and say, hey, I bought this, but I don't have possession of it yet. We can make a note of that and follow up as well. So between us and the customer, then we should be safe.
All right. Craig, you take care. Have a great day, okay?
Will do, Terry. Thank you. You too.
You betcha. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Let's go over to Oppenheimer right now. And no, not Oppenheimer. Baird. Steve Anderson. You didn't jump jobs. You just stayed right there, right?
Yep, I'm still planted in the same seat.
There you go. What's going on in New York right now, Steve?
Well, we got some green today. Dow Jones Industrial Average is ahead by 158 points, putting it at 36,085 on volume of 362 million shares. The NASDAQ is down, however, by 230 points, putting it at 15,335. Volume there is 406 million shares. Stocks of local interest, we've got Caterpillar 206.67, up 412. Deere 348.51, up 457. CMS 65.42, up 54. Dow 55.08, up 104. DuPont 79.74, up 140. Corteva 47.19, up 110. GM is 59.38, up 78. Trinzio 51.78, that one is up 17. Walmart 145.85, up 9. Home Depot is 403.24, down 457. Huntington Bank 15.65, up 42, and AT&T is ahead by 157, putting it at 23.75.
Have a good day, Steve. We'll talk to you again.
I will. I look forward to it, Terry. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Sue from Beta Seed. Thanks again for agreeing to this ride-along.
Sure.
Sugar beets are crazy. Did you know they had to be bred specifically to even become an annual? Ours have the best trait spread in, too. We grow millions of stecks a year for that.
Stacks?
Baby beet plants. Stecks are key. I could go on and on.
I bet.
At Beta Seed, every seed is fueled by decades of wisdom. It's complex science, which our breeders are pretty excited about.
Hand crossing is the real magic. First,
Beta Seed, breeding confidence.
Farm Service has been brought to you today by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil. They want to take your diesel to another level. You will get more power, cleaner injectors, faster cold starts, maximum lubricity, year-round protection, and up to 8% improved fuel economy with Diesel Guard Supreme Plus from Valve Tech Petroleum. Available at Foster Blue Water Oil. Just contact your Foster representative or go online, fosterbluewateroil.com. Windy conditions will begin to taper off after about 2 o'clock or so, and then we'll be looking at much colder air tonight. Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude our program with a playing of our national anthem.